Hi everyone and welcome back. Today is going to be another mummy video for you all. Today is going to be my labour and delivery story with Tyler. As I've mentioned in a previous video when I did my breastfeeding experience video, Tyler is now almost 3 and the baby is going to be born in October. So I wanted to get this up before the baby's born because I'll probably share my experience with this baby as well. I won't be filming the birth or anything at all, I won't be doing that, but I'll just be sharing my experience afterwards with you guys and my recovery process. So it is a while ago now, however I do remember nearly every single detail of my labour and delivery and how it all started. So I'm going to go straight into the video for you guys. So the first thing that happened, it was on a Friday night, Thursday night, on the 24th of November 2011, and I had my show. So that's when the mucus plug that's protecting your cervix comes away to allow the baby to come through and just clears everything out. So that happened at 12 o'clock on the Thursday night, so I suppose it would have been Friday morning realistically. I hadn't been able to sleep very much that I think I hadn't wanted to go to bed at all, and I'd been wandering around the house and stuff. I had gone into bed and then I got up to use the toilet, and that's where I noticed, and then I called my midwife, let her know that that was happening, and she said within the next 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours I think, contractions could start. So before that happened though, really weirdly, I'd gone downstairs and drank a pint of orange juice. And I'm not that huge a fan of orange juice at all. And I'd also ate a load of peanut butter from the jar. I don't know if that was my body's way of saying stock up on energy because you're going to need it, or whether they were just some cravings or just like a weird kind of thing that was going on. But that I had done previously to finding out that the show had happened. And then, so once my show had happened, I went to bed and I thought, okay, fine. Good, he's due on Saturday, this could mean, fingers crossed, I'm not going to have a stretch and sweep. And so when I woke up on Friday morning, it was 5 in the morning and I was having contractions. They weren't anything drastic, but I could definitely time them. They were definitely regular, and they were lasting a few seconds, maybe a minute at that. To begin with. So I sat on my birthing ball in the bedroom while my partner continued to sleep, and then he woke up and we decided I called the hospital. They asked me to pop in, so I popped in between 1 and 2. She checked and gave me a examination, and she said I was between 1 and 2 centimetres already, and then she said, but you could stay like this for 24 hours, so just keep active, keep mobile, and let us know of any updates. And I said, well, my contractions are really regular already. I'd been timing them. And she went, oh, they are quite regular. And they weren't kind of like every now and then. It was like every set time, I don't know, probably between 10 and 15 minutes that early on, I was getting contractions. So she just told me to keep writing them down and keep an eye on them, and we'd just see how things progressed. So being the type of person that I am, and quite stubborn, I decided that we would go for a shop. Yes, that's right, I went for a walk around town and carried on doing my shopping while I was having contractions. I wanted an active labour, and I wanted to progress things, and I wanted to do everything I could to help get the labour started. So walking, being active, doing things is the best option. I didn't particularly want to sit in the car for the half-an-hour drive home, so I delayed that as long as possible. So while walking around, we just walked around for a few hours, got some shopping, and then when we got home, my contractions were definitely kicking in by then. They were getting stronger, more painful. I continued on the birthing ball. That was my best friend. That thing did not leave my side. My partner had me on the bed with it at one point because I was leaning over it on my all fours. So that was kind of like my best friend. And yeah, around about I suppose first time moms are normally like, oh my god, they're like 10 minutes apart, we should go to the hospital. No, I just carried on, and then I noticed that they were becoming like 3 and 5 minutes apart, 5 and 3 minutes apart. And my midwife had given me this little leaflet that told you all the stages and what to do and when to call them. And it said that if your contractions were between 5 minutes apart, then you should definitely be calling the midwife out to come and see you and to get you into hospital, basically. And I was like, quite calmly turned around to Richard and just said, Rich, my contractions are every 3 minutes, aren't they? They're lasting a couple of minutes? Yeah, we should have called the midwife ages ago. So we called our midwife and she came out. I was actually having a contraction when she walked in the room, so I didn't even acknowledge. I just carried on breathing and carrying on with what I was doing. She kind of just sat on the floor next to me and she's like, that's okay, you carry on doing what you're doing and I'll talk to you in a minute. So once I had got through my contractions, she said hello and who she was, and just asked if she could give me a quick examination, and she did. She got me on the bed, gave me an examination, and she was shocked to find that I was actually 5 going on 6 centimetres already. So I think this was at between 6 and 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'd been to the hospital, I think it was between 1:30 and 2 that day, and that's when they'd said that it could take 12 hours. So I was already, you know, it was gonna be happening today, and that was on the Friday the 25th. And she was like, now, are you gonna come straight to the hospital? If I leave now, you're gonna come straight to the hospital? And we were like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry, we'll follow you. And so she left to go and get the hospital ready and prepared, and she said, now if you can't leave on time, she said, call an ambulance. And I was like, oh god, what's happening? Is the baby going to be like coming in the next hour or so? And then she gave Richard a puppy pad, those puppy little training pad things, those square things that you put on the floor when you've got a puppy. And she said, you might want to put this on the car seat. And I was like, oh god, my water's going to go. And I had a few other things that is probably a bit too much information, as well, to definitely let me know that labour was going to be imminent and it was establishing, and my body was definitely preparing. So yeah, we got ready to go, and then this is where my story with the birthing ball comes in, because I was attached to it, and my partner actually ran up and down our stairs 3 times with it, because every time we got to the car with it, I was shouting him back to ask if I could have it, because I was having a contraction and I needed it to sit on or lie on. And he had to run up and down stairs like 6 times up and down with it. I felt horrible. The car ride was not enjoyable because I was preferring to be on all 4s with resting myself on the birthing ball rather than being sat upright. I found that it was just way too much pressure on my back. So when we got to the hospital, we got into our room, and the midwife had set up an active birthing room because I wanted an active birth, which meant there was no bed. And the amount of people, like friends and other people I've told this to, are like, there was no bed in the room? What, are you insane? I was on a gym mat. You know those little gym mats that you have in PE or gym class at school for gymnastics and things? Yeah, that was me. On the gym mat, on the floor, giving birth, with a beanbag on the side for me to lean on. Oh yeah, glamorous, I know. So yeah, that was my room, and I was really happy. I didn't want the bed, I didn't want to lie on a bed, I didn't want to be lying on my back, not progressing things further. So we were all on the floor. I got myself changed into my little night dress thing that I was going to be wearing, and I went to go to the bathroom. My contractions were pretty bad at this point, and I went to go to the toilets. I thought I needed a wee, and then I got to the toilet, and you know they have the little cuppy things for you to grab your waters when they break, so they can check them and check there's no proteins or meconium from the baby pooing. And I just stood there like a lemon. My waters just went, I just heard this pop, and I just had a gush, and I had the biggest amount of waters ever. I don't know if they're supposed to be that much. And I just stood there like a lemon with this thing next to me that I could have just easily grabbed and cupped everything and got it off the floor rather than it just spilling everywhere. I shouted to Richard, "Richard, can you get the midwife? My waters have just gone." So he got the midwife and she was like, oh, okay, it's fine, don't you worry. And I was like, "I'm so sorry, I should have just grabbed that." And I just stood here like a lemon. She's like, "It's okay, it's fine, it's your first time." And she was like, "Well, at least I can see that your waters are all clear." There was enough waters there to clean the entire bathroom floor. So yeah, I felt horrible because she then had to clear it all up, but they were completely clear, so that meant the baby was fine. Things got even quicker, and she hadn't even been able to check me. I was due for a check at 11 o'clock to see how dilated I was, and we got to the hospital around about 7:45, and 10 o'clock came, and I was on all fours. I was leaning on the birthing ball, and I kept stretching my legs out and sort of moving side to side, and apparently my sister and my partner were the birthing partners, and they said that poor Helen died while I was kicking my legs everywhere. And she had to, she sort of asked me, she was like, "Sarah, do you feel like you need to push?" And that's when I realised, I need to push. At this point I hadn't really had any pain relief. I'd asked for gas and air when we got there, to give that a try, but the first big puff that I took of it, I did properly, and I actually really inhaled it, and it just made my jaw numb, and I just felt really woozy and out of it. So I opted to not use it, and all that I used for pain relief was the little nozzle that comes with the gas and air. They kept it attached in case I wanted to still carry on breathing with the gas and air, but it was more, I was just clamping down and like growling through my teeth. I'm surprised I didn't like chip or lose a tooth with how much I was biting down on this thing. So that was my pain relief, and yeah, I then got onto my the beanbag that kind of had me propped up, and my sister and my partner had my legs like way back where I didn't even know I could get them. And from 10 o'clock I was pushing, and then apparently pushing first time around can take 1 to 2 hours. So I was getting tired and his heart rate started to drop. Now, the hospital is only a cottage hospital, so there's no doctors whatsoever. It's just me, the midwife, another midwife observing for any complications, and then my partner. So she had to call for an ambulance because his heart rate was dropping between contractions, I think, and his head just didn't seem to want to drop round, and they could see I was pushing and making progress, but his head just kept going back. So every little bit of progress I made, he went back 2 pushes or whatever. And so they got me up, and as I tilted upwards, I just kind of felt like he just like slipped down some more, and I asked them to put me back, and that's when he started to come out properly. And apparently the paramedics were outside the room waiting, because one of the other midwife went out and said, "Hang on, she's going to be fine." And so yeah, by 11:13 on the 25th of November 2011, we had Tyler, and he weighed 7.5 ounces. He was perfect, a little boy. We didn't know what we were having, so we were really happy. Richard got to tell me what he was. We'd asked the midwife that he tell me the sex. She obviously will have confirmed to him first that it was a boy. And yeah, he came out screaming, he was happy, and then he decided to poo all over me, which means I got him out just in time, because it would have been a case of meconium, and it would have probably been a worry of him swallowing it or getting a little infection or anything. So yeah, that was really close, a close call with him. But yeah, everything went absolutely normal. I had no stitches. I had a little bit of a graze, and apparently that is really lucky for first time mums, because normally you can expect a pretty bad tear and stitches, if not an episiotomy. And yeah, that was basically it. He was here, I was happy, my partner was happy, we were just over the moon. My mum and dad were waiting outside, and they came in and saw him as soon as he was basically out and cleaned up a little bit. And my sister was there, my twin sister, so it just made it all the more special. We left, basically we stopped in the hospital overnight because it was late when he was born, and by the time they'd done all the checks and everything, it was probably pushing 12, 1 o'clock. So we got then taken through into another room, where we stayed. My partner got to stay with me all night because of it, again, being a small hospital in a rural area. They don't expect other moms to be, you know, it's very rare they'll have 2 women at the same time in labour. So yeah, I got to stop with Richard. We didn't sleep at all. I don't know if this is just us, or I don't know, perhaps everyone does this, but I did not sleep a wink. I may have been absolutely tired and exhausted from the labour, but I just could not take my eyes off him. He was just so precious. So we left at 8 o'clock the next morning and we went home, and that was it. We drove home and we were a little family. I sat in the back seat of the car with him because I didn't want to leave him in the back on his own. I felt like I needed to be next to him. And yeah, it just felt so special. It was the best birthing experience I could ever wish for. So I am going to leave it at that now because we're rambling a little bit now, and this video is probably going to be as long as all the other videos I filmed today. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, of my labour and delivery story with Tyler, and I hope to hopefully get one up after the baby is born and you can meet him. And I will be doing a little video for you to meet Tyler soon, hopefully before we move, so that I can get that up before the baby's here. So I will see you all very soon. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe. And all my links for blogs, Twitter and Instagram will be down below, along with any my latest pregnancy update and any beauty videos that I've done recently for you guys to check out if you haven't. And I will see you all again very soon. Bye guys!